Mayor Bob Filner admitted he needs help. Let's listen.
I have begun to work with professionals to make changes in my behavior and approach. In addition, my staff and I will participate in sexual harassment training provided by the city.
The mayor stopped short of saying he sexually harassed anyone, but what does his participation in treatment really mean, and how likely is it to change behavior? Here to help answer those questions is psychotherapist David Peters. And David, welcome back.
Good to meet you again.
What typically motivates someone to sexually harass?
In most cases, the sexual harasser is someone who's got impulse control problems, there's immaturity, and some unmet intimacy needs from long ago, childhood or adolescent conflicts that are unresolved, and they're truly trying to enjoy the social interaction and the arousal of it with denying that they're doing any harm.
What is the social definition of sexual harassment as opposed to, let's say, the legal definition?
Well, it's fairly loose, and it can be dependent upon the exact situation. But generally, what we're saying now is, let's agree that if the victim of it is not wanting this sexual attention, it's then inappropriate. You know, there are some workplaces where things are kind of fast and loose, and there's a lot of teasing that can be on the edge, but it takes good judgment and maturity to know where that boundary is.
In your experience with people who are sexual harassers, do they tend to believe they're not doing anything wrong?
Well, they use a heavy level of denial most of the time. There are some who are just under-socialized who don't know, or they come from a social environment where it really is acceptable. But when you're in an educated class, in a high political class, very public arena, most people do know that sexual harassment is wrong. Most people know what it is. And so then there's a denial laid over. They're truly projecting onto the others that they must enjoy it.
Does it qualify, or does it fall under any sort of addiction, compulsion, mental illness category?
Generally, no. It's possible that a mental illness can trigger such behavior, such as a compulsive disorder where there's sexual compulsions that are very difficult to resist. That person would be very ashamed of themselves and wanting to stop and be unable. Or bipolar disorder in a manic phase, someone could have terrible impulse control and arouse or sexual interest that's then enlarged and be unable to contain that. Personality disorders are more likely to be sexually harassing of others. It's not quite a mental illness, but it is an arena that mental health professionals do work with people. The vast majority are just those who are immature, impulse-ridden, and needing intimacy needs met, and they're doing it recklessly and in a way selfishly.
What type of treatment options are available, and how successful are they?
Depends on the source. If it's someone who's just under-socialized, sexual harassment training correction can do the trick. But when someone's been confronted many times, when they've put their career at risk a number of times, that indicates that someone's not learning from the past. And so we're looking at more like something that's compulsive or something that's endemic to the personality, and neither of those are good prognoses.
During his apology, Mayor Filner said that he plans to reach out to current and former staff, both men and women. Let's listen to that.
In the next few days, I will be reaching out to those who now work in the mayor's office or have previously worked for me, both men and women, to personally apologize for my behavior.
Now, what kind of impact could a personal apology have?
It could go very poorly if it's not done with absolute sincerity and an open heart. We can often tell if someone's just going through the motions to patch up a relationship, or whether someone is truly contrite and truly looking at themselves deeply. And so I'd want to counsel someone in such a situation to really dig deep and wait before they do the apology. Wait till they can really examine themselves. I'd work with them for a while before the apology, because it could help if he can make a good connection and be sincere. But we can sniff out insincerity pretty quickly, and it could be to his detriment.
Well, I know that you're not the mayor's, you're not working with the mayor on this issue, but based on his statement, clarify for us again what you think the prognosis is of this help working for the mayor.
Well, if it all depends on the source. I would want to work with them for a significant period of time and find out, is there a compulsive disorder? Is there a mental illness? If not, okay, then what's with the immaturity? Where are the issues in the background that have led to this behavior? And as I've said, given that someone's been confronted many times before, this is a long piece of work in most cases. I've not met the mayor, I don't know the case individually, but given the general facts, no matter who it is, probably a long period of time.
Okay, psychotherapist David Peters, thanks so much for your insight on this.
Always good to be with you, Peggy.